Hey guys, it's round 4 of Super Rugby and the competition's really starting to hot up now. We're getting to the point where things are starting to get a bit of momentum. We're starting to see some sides, and we're starting to see some cross-cultural clashes again. But first, let's have a look at last week's results. Had a very good week last week, 8 out of 9. The only one got wrong was the Chiefs beating the Hurricanes. I must admit, what a game. Didn't quite expect that, and well done to the Chiefs. Really shows you that any team can beat any team in this competition. All the rest got right, and I'm pretty happy about that. Although some of them were quite close results, and that's what's going to happen in this competition. But let's get started with this week's predictions. We'll start straight away with the South African games first, because they're the ones that are obviously the most important. We started Friday night's game, Bulls, Sunwolves, and although the Sunwolves did really well and played really clever rugby, I think the Bulls, with the return of the likes of Lute Jager, Adrian Strauss, Jan Serfontein, might be a bit rusty, those guys coming back from injury, but there's Janus Kirsten as well on the bench. They certainly look too strong. The Sunwolves are going to obviously try and surprise them, but I think after the way they played against the Cheetahs last week, the Bulls will be ready for that. I think the Sunwolves will put a good run, but the Bulls will win by 20 and get their mojo back. Saturday's first game we're going to have a look at, of course, the Lions-Reds. The Reds doing well this season. The likes of George Smith, Quade Cooper, really looking good as well. But the Lions, I think, even though they lost against the Jaguares, they really played well at home, and they played well against the Waratahs. In that regard, with the guys like the arrested Elton Yankees, Ron Jansen van Rensburg, those guys back in the squad, Franco Mostert, and they'll feel a lot more comfortable back home. And although the Reds are going to pose a much bigger challenge to them, I don't think they have enough to beat the Lions at home. The Lions are going to look good. I reckon they're going to take this by 15 to 20 points and continue their run at home. Okay, then we go down to Durban. The Sharks looking extremely good against the Waratahs. The Kings putting up a big fight against the Stormers, but not quite having the firepower. I think it's going to be the same again. At home, the Sharks are looking very good. They've got some great momentum now, though they've got 1 or 2 injuries. Guys like Kerwin Bosch playing really well, and they're going to rest some Springboks, but I think they're still going to have enough firepower to beat the Kings by 15 to 20 points. The only other South African team playing this weekend is the Cheetahs, going across to Buenos Aires, and they've lost a number of guys with injuries. I think these injuries are going to be fatal for the Cheetahs this weekend. They'll play good brand of rugby. It's going to be an exciting game to watch late on Saturday evening. But I think, unfortunately, the Jaguares at home are a different kettle of fish. They're going to be very tough to beat. So I take that one, but Jaguares by 10 to 15 points. This might sound a bit backward to do it this way, but the first 2 games on Friday are going to be quite interesting as well. You have the Crusaders Blues, and while the Blues are flattered to deceive, they're just not quite getting over that hurdle. They've really shown some good touches, and everyone's hoping, especially in New Zealand, there's a lot of people hoping that the Blues finally get something going there under Tanu Maga, but not quite there yet. I think the Crusaders have won now 2 games at the death. They've got that self-belief, they've got that momentum going. Playing at home, I don't think they're going to get beaten, so I say Crusaders by 5 to 7. Rebels hosting the Chiefs in Melbourne. I think the Chiefs have got way too much firepower at the moment. The way they played against the Hurricanes shows just how good a side they are. And I think Australian rugby is going to have another bad weekend, and this is the start of it. 10 to 15 points for the Chiefs. Probably the most difficult game to call this weekend. Hurricanes, Highlanders, both teams doing very well. Both teams having a good start to the season. Both teams got a couple of injuries. I think the Hurricanes would probably shade this one, just on the fact that a bit more experience, a bit less injuries, and looking good. But this is going to be too close to call. But if I had to shade it, I'd say Hurricanes by a couple of points. The last game of the weekend, probably the derby that a lot of South Africans aren't really concerned about. The Brumbies against the Waratahs, one that's going to be important in the Australian conference, but not so important for the rest of us. I think both sides have got problems. I think Waratahs had a really bad start, and even though they're playing at home, I think the Brumbies probably got a little bit more on them. Also going to be a close game, not the most exciting game, I reckon, but I reckon if we have to pick a winner, I'd go here for the Brumbies by 5 points. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching this. Tell us what you think. Leave your predictions below. Tell me we get it right and wrong, and please share, subscribe. Yeah, that's how these videos work. Subscribe to the channel. You see a lot more of these videos coming out. Thanks, man. Cheers.